Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Zaylee. In today's video, I am bringing you a review on the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. I've been so excited to review this for you guys. I'm sorry it's taken me a while. I did actually purchase these the day that they launched, but I wanted to give a really good in-depth review. So I've been trying them out, using them with different primers, using them with the different tools. Yeah, just really giving these guys a thorough test out so that it could come back with as much information as possible for you guys in case you're interested. Now, I know that there is a lot of controversy around the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation, and I'm so glad that there's so many YouTubers with such a large following, you know, really making companies aware that it's just not okay. Currently, there is 16 shades in the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation, which, considering how many shades are in the concealer range, it's just unacceptable. Tarte is a massive brand and they can definitely cater for all skin tones. And I believe out of all 16 shades, there's maybe 4 or 5 that actually cater to dark skin tones. So it's a little bit disappointing, but hopefully brands will learn from that. But let's just get into the review. So like I said, guys, I've been testing this out very thoroughly for you. I wanted to give you as much information as possible. So yes, both come with 16 shades. So if you're not aware, the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation comes in a hydrating formula and a matte formula. Now, the hydrating formula is not quite as full coverage as the matte. You definitely, if you're wanting that really full coverage, you'll probably have to go in with a second layer. Generally, I do. But with the matte foundation, you definitely only really need that one layer to build up and get the results that you're after. And honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that this one isn't as full coverage as the other one. I don't understand why, because this one is hydrating, why it should be less coverage. I figured, you know, they should both be the same coverage, but I mean, that's just my 2 cents. I just wish that they were both full coverage. Not that it's that big of a deal going in with a second layer, but I don't know, that's just my opinion. So this is what the hydrating one looks like. So nice blue packaging, you got the blue drop, and then on the back here it says Tarte Double Ditty Booty. And the applicator is very similar to the actual Shape Tape concealer. I quite like this applicator. It's really good, disperses product evenly. I just sometimes think that they don't quite pick up enough as opposed to the concealer. I feel like with this one I have to dip in a few times, and then this is what the matte one looks like. So yeah, very similar packaging to the concealer, just one, the hydrating is blue and the matte is purple. So I'm just going to go in one on one side, one on the other side, and talk about the product as I put them on. So I've already primed my face. I'll just tuck my hair out of the way here. So I'll do the matte on this side and I'll do the hydrating on this side for you guys. And I'll use my Zoeva 104 buffer brush to apply both of the foundations. I'll just give it a bit of a clean in between so that the matte doesn't transfer to the hydrating, or hydrating doesn't transfer to the matte. Okay, so let's just go in first with the hydrating. So when I wear this one, I definitely go in with 2 layers, get the coverage that I'm after. I find that with just one, I just don't quite get it. So these foundation shades definitely tend to oxidize. I find they are slightly darker within about an hour of putting them on to when I first applied. Just be mindful of the fact that they do oxidize. You may want to go a shade lighter than what you actually think, because yeah, they can tend to oxidize. And I'm just going to buff this one in. Now with the hydrating formula, I have gotten around, well, I believe that you get around 6 to 7 solid hours before the foundation starts to deteriorate. I don't really find that it settles into my lines or anything like that. It sits really well on the skin, and concealers and any other cream or powder products really work well with this foundation. I definitely don't have any dramas there. But yeah, definitely I feel like after about that 6-hour time frame, the foundation just, yeah, doesn't look as good as what it what it did when I first applied. So that's how it's looking with just one layer. Now I didn't quite put enough here on my forehead, so I would definitely need to go in with more. But I'm just gonna zoom you in a little bit more, I feel like, so you can have a better look at the foundation. Okay, sorry guys, that's a bit closer. So yeah, this is how it's looking with one layer of the hydrating. Yeah, I definitely feel like, I mean, I could get away with this, but for me, I'm either full coverage or nothing at all. That's kind of just how I always tend to be. So yeah, I found that when I wear this in my everyday life, I generally go in with a second layer. I find that about 6 hours in, not that I'm super oily, but I really do start to tend to get quite oily looking in the T-zone, yeah, mostly on my forehead. So if you are prone to oiliness, you'll definitely need to probably carry a powder with you to do some touch-ups. But yeah, that's how it's looking after one layer. So I'm just gonna go in with another, especially on my forehead here. And you can already see that oxidization starting. And I'm just going back in with my buffer brush. Have you guys picked this foundation up already? Let me know down below what you think of it. If you have, do you like it? Do you think it's worth the hype? I'd really love to know what other people think of this. Okay, so that's the foundation with 2 layers. So I don't really feel like the hydrating one, it doesn't sink into my fine lines. It sits really well on the skin. It just, yeah, after a few hours really starts to, yeah, about 6, starts to break down. I tend to get a little oily on my forehead. Yeah, but for the most part, it is a nice foundation. Definitely, yeah, like I said, be wary of the oxidization. I find that after about an hour, that's when you really see it. So that's one side, that's the hydrating. And yeah, so like I said, overall, it's a good foundation, about 6 hours, and then it starts to go downhill for me and a little bit oily. Now let's go in with the matte. Now you definitely only need 1 layer with the matte. The way that I've actually personally liked to wear this one, which is so over the top, but I like to just mix it. This is like a mixing foundation for me. If I have a foundation that's a little less coverage, I find that this one really helps. Helps with the coverage. I have worn it on its own a lot, but in all honesty, I mix it more in with other foundations than wear it on its own. Now I've just wiped that brush off, so I'm just going back in with the exact same brush, and I'm just going to blend this one into my skin as well. I don't know why, but I feel like the matte one, it does actually oxidize a little bit more than what the hydrating one does. Now with the matte, whether I mix it in with another foundation or whether I'm wearing it on its own, I can get a solid, I've worn this foundation on its own for 12 hours before. Just like a little background about myself, I usually get up around 5:30 most mornings, you know, get ready for work, and I finish my day. And I usually go and work out straight, you know, about an hour or so after work. So I pretty much take my foundation off as soon as I get home. But on the weekend when I've worn this, I've worn it for, yeah, 10 hours and it didn't deteriorate. It just stayed on so well. And the only really downside I find to this foundation is, for me, it seeps into my smile lines. I don't feel like it creases anywhere else except for in the smile lines. It oxidizes. It's actually really interesting being matte, and I have a fairly normal skin. I find that after about 8 hours with this one, I actually tend to look a little bit more dewy, which is interesting. I'm not really sure why it does that, because I'm not like a really oily person, but that's just how it is. Okay, so this is now the matte side, and this is the hydrating. So once, like, looking here in my mirror, it doesn't really look that big of a difference actually side by side. Like, I don't really feel like the dewy one looks, or at least it's not picking up on camera as being super dewy as opposed to the matte. But yeah, I only need one layer with this one. I definitely get a lot longer of wear with this one, but I do find that the matte does oxidize a little bit more and does settle into my creases. So yeah, that's pretty much all the information that I have to give to you guys about this. So I'm going to zoom you back out and then I'm just going to give you my final thoughts. Okay guys, so the thoughts that I've collected over the couple of weeks that I've been using this foundation, surprisingly, because I'm definitely more of a dewy girl, I love the look of dewy skin and I just think it looks more youthful. But if I'm going to be dead honest, like I thought that the Hydrating would be my favorite, but I've actually been loving the matte, which is really odd for me because I'm not a big matte foundation girl, but because after so many hours, I start to get that really dewy look. I really like this. I don't have to touch up with this. The only problem that I really have is the oxidization and the fact that it creases, you know, in my smile lines. But for the most part, they really are both great foundations. The matte one is definitely my favorite out of the two. And yeah, like I'm impressed. Like I really do like the foundation. It's probably not my most favorite foundation that I've ever used, but I really do like it, and I do find myself reaching for it really quite often. You know, once again, the shade range is a bit of a bummer, and I'm hoping that they really expand on that because it really is unfortunate. The Shape Tape is, you know, the concealer has such a hype and such a following. It's just not fair that there's not more shades for everyone out there, because personally, I really like this foundation. I think it's great. Like I said, it's not my most favorite foundation ever, but for the most part, I really like it. You can see now, especially like that oxidization, because I haven't blended it down my neck, and especially me looking in the mirror, I'm not sure what's picking up on camera, but I can really see like the shade difference now. But yeah, I really couldn't be bothered wearing heaps of makeup today, so I'm just having a pretty chill day. It's a Sunday. But yeah, so that's my final thoughts, guys. I hope that helps you make a decision whether or not you want to purchase this foundation. Like I said, I really love it. Those are the only really cons that I have. Is mostly the oxidization with the matte one, that it you know, settles in my smile lines. And with the Hydrating, I find that after around 6-7 hours, yeah, it just doesn't look as good as it did at the start of the day. But overall, I really do like these foundations. I haven't shown you guys, but I'm sure you've seen, just in case anyone's curious, this is what the uni cartons look like as well. You've got all of your ingredients on the back. And yeah, like I said, I find that these products, they blend really well with other products. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'm sorry it's taken so long. I hope that people, you know, still want to see this and want to know other people's opinions on the product. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you guys was the price. For me, it was 54, I believe, Australian dollars to purchase that with shipping. I just purchased, yeah, both at the same time when they first launched, so I didn't have to pay shipping or anything like that, which was great. And they arrived within 2 weeks, which was awesome. But yeah, overall, I am impressed. I think it's a great foundation, shade range. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.